We should be hearing about the new archers, potentially by the end of the month, and here are some reasons why I might skip on these archers, even though they might be really good. So I'm someone who does only one archer march, and that archer march is basically built around QSH, who is still, I believe, the best commander in the game, because he really works differently than the other commanders. He affects 6 targets, he doesn't do basic attacks, his basic attacks are basically skill damage ticks, and the best ways to complement him is to really give him a lot of skill damage bonuses, which is why I use someone like YSG, who has 50% on his 4th skill, but also an additional 12% if you have all the tiers from the Museum buff. And what can the new archer really do to beat YSG? Well, before I answer that, a quick word from our sponsor for this video.
Top Up Live is a site where you can buy various bundles in a hefty catalog of games for a cheaper price. Once you sign up, you'll have multiple coupons to redeem and use. It offers a variety of payment methods such as PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, Apple and Google Pay, among others. And if you use my promo code EMIR, you will have an additional 12% discount on your first purchase. Thanks to Top Up Live for sponsoring this video.
Check out the link in the description, and also in the pinned comment you will see a promo code to get yourself 12% off of your first purchase. Now, what does the new archer have to have in order for me to work on him? Well, if we go by the second pairing that is mostly used with QSH, it's ZL. ZL also has circle AoE like YSG. He has some rage generation coming from his expertise, like YSG, who has, second skill, has a chance to get you 100 rage. And he also provides a 20% skill damage bonus, which is, nice, but triple less than our friend YSG, who is basically someone you can work on from the early game and make yourself useful in the late game. So, what both of these commanders lack is march speed. And if the new archer has circle AoE, he has skill damage bonus, and he has like 25-30% march speed, 20 minimum, then that would make him a very interesting case to work on, because the main weakness, or I should say the only weakness of QSH is his mobility. Like, you have some ability on QSH, of course, but you need both commanders to have more march speed to really feel like it can keep up with the other marches. And there are some who use someone like Shajar as a secondary, especially in altar fights, but Shajar is just single target, and you need something better to complement QSH. So in my opinion, if you want to dethrone someone like ZL or YSG, you need to have circle AoE, rage, a lot of skill damage buff, and march speed. So in theory, it doesn't sound too hard, but we should see in practice how it goes. But in my opinion, QSH has these partners and they're really good. But Zhuge for all the players, he's still, when you look at his skills, he's still really good. Like, he does, obviously maybe the damage factor has gone a bit downward since his release, but it's circle AoE nonetheless. He also gets you rage generation, which is always good in open field. He also has a chance to dispel any debuffs, which is really good. And also gives you some stats, especially health, which is very beneficial. So I believe the new archer really be made to make the second archer pairing viable. And to me that makes sense, because the current second archer is kinda, not doing well compared to other troop types. So this will make the most sense for me. And honestly, out of the two releases, I would honestly see more impact going towards the Garrison Archer, because the Ivar rallies that you have right now in the game are really hitting hard. There is no clear counter to it, and it has to be addressed in this very next cycle, which is probably going to be more impactful than the actual open field commander, which is kind of hard to say. But when you think about it, the last field archer we have is QSH, and it's kind of hard to top what he does. And I mentioned this at the start of the video. He has 6 target AoE. He doesn't work with the basic rage mechanics. He consumes rage. He bases his attacks on skill damage, and it's really easy to work on him because you have options from the beginning of the game with YG. And even with these talent changes that they have, I'm probably gonna still be rocking this because he's just that good. And I'm probably not gonna change my talent tree because he's that good. Now, if I were running a second Archer March, I would probably not take this talent. But for QSH, I think any boost to skill damage that you can get is a bonus. So I think since we're getting a skill damage formation will be more of a priority to switch to. Because as you can see, the current descriptions, they all boost skill damage, but probably not to the extent. It's going to be probably like the pincer formation percentages, where you have like 10% bonus, if I remember. Let's see. Codex, pincer formation. So top door, okay, that's temp. Okay, so it's the same, but it will probably make it more relevant because they have to bring something new. Otherwise, why would you change to wedge formation? I mean from wedge to the new formation. And it has to be something that to complement the new mechanic they might implement. Something with skill damage and potentially healing, or I don't know, something that would mitigate the damage from smite infantry. So I could potentially see more inscriptions, trying to reduce, so you can see it reduces all incoming skill damage, but this would probably reduce every type of skill damage like combo and smite. And I think for an open field, for you as a player, it will be more beneficial to switch to the formation first, or make that kind of a priority. Obviously you can do both at the same time, but for me, example, this set, if I can convert these 4 armaments without special inscription, it would cost me 7 stones, which if you're in a good KVK, if you get everything, you can get 10 stones. So getting ahead of yourselves to have this at hand to see how much do you need. Obviously, if you have a lot of special inscription, this will be a lot more costly to you. But if you have multiple, special inscriptions, then you gotta wait longer, buy commuter stones potentially. But I think it would be more impactful if you have someone like QSH and YG or ZL. It will be more impactful for you to switch the formation rather than work with a new commander, because I don't think he's going to be that much better than the current options we have if your sole focus is to make QSH the best march you can. Because with the Sun Tzu arrival, there's a lot of questions at the beginning about, is it better than BQLC? Should you split up BQ and LC? And I think this would be a similar situation where you have a really strong pairing, but is it worth it to split it up? And I think this would be in a similar dilemma. And I still think, if you have BQLC and you have Sun Tzu Prime, you work on him, but you're only going to run one infantry march, then it's an upgrade, sure, but it's not like you're going from an epic commander power level to a legendary commander power level. Like, you're still going to be getting good trades even if you stay with BQLC. But that's just the nature of the game. People always want to work on the latest commanders, but I potentially might not do that, depending on what they release. I'm currently looking at ways to make my city a bit more safer, because my crutch has been for quite some time is that I don't really feel confident doing random teleports, and I want to have like a garrison city commander that I can use so I can feel a bit more comfortable doing that, because in my latest KVKs the zones are so big, there's a lot of marching, and as a free to play it's kind of hard to march to like an objective, and it just feels very slow, very slow paced, and it's not really something that's nice to watch on the streams, but also to play. Like, I feel like you have to march a lot of time, you might get ambushed, you might die on the way, but and you have to resend again. Whereas I would feel a lot more comfortable having a garrison in the city to make my way to around the map and do some damage and have some fun that way. So to recap, if you're only working on one archer march, if you only have one archer march and you have YSG, you have Zhuge, you really need a strong candidate to replace these two, because they provide you a lot of really good things. And both of these commanders only have one weakness: they do not have march speed. So if the new commander has circle AoE, other stats, skill damage bonuses, and march speed, then yeah, there's a high chance, you know, it has to be a meta. Like, it has to be a meta contender to be placed with alongside QSH. But for me, it's more a way to make the second archer march more relevant, because in comparison to other troop types, I feel like the archer second march is really lacking. So if you're someone who runs two archer marches, chances are very high that you actually need to work on a new archer. If you only have one archer march, chances are, I would say 50-50, or maybe even 40-60. So let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.